Who can be my joint sponsor? Hello everyone, my name is Audra Doyle and I'm the owner and attorney of Doyle Law here in Atlanta, Georgia. Today we're going to talk about who can be the joint sponsor on an I-864 form. The I-864 is the affidavit of support that we use in family-based immigration cases, particularly the I-130 petition will have an I-864 attached to it. But sometimes the main petitioner does not make enough money to complete the I-864 alone, and you realize that you need a joint sponsor on the case. So we're going to talk today about who can be the joint sponsor and what the requirements are. First, anyone who is a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident can be the joint sponsor on these cases. What I tell my clients is to look for someone who has a small family size and has a good job. That's the typical thing that immigration likes to see. It definitely gets more complicated if the joint sponsor owns their own business and does not receive a W-2 or normal income tax treatment. If they have their own business and they have depreciation, etc., that could make their tax return not look very simple for immigration purposes. Next, the joint sponsor can be a family member, it can be a friend, but I do recommend that it is someone that you and your beneficiary knows, because recently immigration has started to ask about the relationship of the joint sponsor to this case. They say, is it your family member? Is it your uncle? Is it your friend? How do you know this person? And they sometimes ask for the joint sponsor to sign off on a letter that says they understand what they're signing. They agree to be the joint sponsor on the case. Now, lastly, if you want to know how much money do they have to make, that is a very common question. And I'm sorry to say, it depends. But I'll tell you how to find out the answer. The answer can be found in a document called I-864P. It's on the immigration website. I will post the link here. And if you look at this document, it says for a household of this many people, you have to make this much money. So for example, it'll say a 2-person household needs to make X number of dollars. A 3-person household needs to make X number of dollars. And then the joint sponsor can easily see how much money they need to make in order to satisfy the requirements of the 864. The last thing I want to share with you is, what if the joint sponsor has failed to file their taxes? That could be a big problem for your case. So you don't want to pick a joint sponsor who is not up to date on their tax returns. Find someone who has filed their taxes properly in the past 3 years. I hope that this information is helpful to you. And as always, if you have any questions, please let us know.